You see the manager, Mikel Arteta, running down the sideline there. Let's listen into what he had to say after the game.
Mikel, well done. Happy?
Yeah, very happy to win away from home in the quarterfinals of the Champions League against a team that they haven't lost, I don't know, for how long at home, obviously.
17 home wins running till tonight.
Well, I think the last time was probably us in Europe as well, so that's the difficulty of it.
Were you starting to wonder at any point that your control wouldn't turn itself into a goal?
Yes, because when we got into the final third and we got set there, we lacked the final bit. You know, we had to be a little bit more crispier, I would say, faster, more efficient to break them down when they had that block. We tried in different ways. We got the goal disallowed. There were 2 or 3 occasions we were quite close, but we lacked that final pass. And in the end, you know, a magic moment for the finishers, win us the game.
The finishers, the subs, yes, they came on and did it, didn't they? Wonderfully constructed, wasn't it?
Beautiful, and that's the impact that you need when you get to these stations in the season. Everybody has to make an impact, and they certainly done that tonight.
Yeah, what can you say about Kai Havertz? He is a player, isn't he, for the big occasion?
He loves the big occasions, the big games, and that's what we need, the big players to turn up when we need them and to win us a game.
Yes. How do you... Listen, David Raya, we've obviously talked about him in the team or not in the team. Player of the match tonight, where do you place his performance?
Yeah, because he had 2 moments that we made 2 big saves, and that's the Champions League. The Champions League is decided always in the boxes, and because there's so much quality here, and when you need him...
Look at that touch.
That's an unbelievable touch, and that was very early in the match as well, so that could have changed the tie.
Yes. Kai has just called him the best goalkeeper in the world.
At the moment is phenomenal. He's been extraordinary since he joined us, and we are very lucky to have him.
Is this a transformation point or a turnaround point? That's something that Kai mentioned as well now after the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we have to reveal ourselves today, and I talk about identity and other things that we are as a team, that I definitely saw that tonight.
And for this group, what does it mean?
It's half-time. We are a step closer. Now we need to finish the tie at home in front of our people, and if we do that, we're going to start to dream.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
And meanwhile, we'll remember what Sporting did against Bodo Glimt in the second leg of the last round, right? Do you think they'll still have belief that they could get something done in this game, or is it different now because they have to go to the Emirates for the second
that was
leg?
at their place.
Yeah, I think it'd be tough for them. Listen, we were watching the other game, or we were keeping an eye on that game. But even though Arsenal didn't play well, you didn't feel like they were ever going to be really threatened. Didn't feel like Sporting could really hurt them too much. It almost felt, when you're watching one game, it felt like a Champions League quarter-final. When you were watching Sporting Arsenal, it almost felt like a game from the group. There was just a completely different level of pace and probably quality to the game as well. So I think Arsenal almost just had them at ease, and we're never going to take a chance away from home. We're always going to get the 0-0, and if they could nick it, fantastic.
Well, we got the reaction though, didn't they, from the players? Losing to Man City, losing to Southampton. You said it was a big game for them.
What did that
It was a
mean?
big game. I wouldn't go along with it wasn't a great performance.
They won the game.
No.
We had a debate before, you know.
But what I'm saying is, yes, so they won. And the big thing is for them to win. So it almost puts away, like, we've won a game of football. But it wasn't a great performance.
Yeah, but if that was Liverpool, that's a great professional performance away in Europe.
I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, if Havertz hits the post, yeah.
If Havertz hits the post, why did he hit the post?
I know, but
if Vinicius scores, it's 2-2.
Yeah. But it's not a great performance where they played fantastic, was it?
No, I agree with you. I'm not saying that.
Why do you always argue with me and in the end you go, I agree with you? You do it every time.
No. I respect your points, and like I said before, I think you're a brilliant analyst. I know that. But you said, but you said before the game, they need a reaction. I'm asking you.
Yes.
They got the reaction.
Yes.
How they did it is irrelevant.
Exactly.
It was about winning the game.
Yes, and they've won the game.
Correct. Is my point.
No problem.
That's it.
But do you think if they play like that every game between now and the end of the season, they win the league?
But they've been playing like that in the season, and they've been getting over the line. That's been the point, hasn't it?
Well, we'll see.
Did you think it was a satisfactory response? Were you happy with the performance?
I told you, they won away from home. Let's see what they can do at the Emirates. I will talk at the end.
Okay, we're not saying Arsenal was scintillating. We're not. They weren't. It's just about the performance. That's it.
Thanks, Mike, for the extra.
And by the way, you thought I was tensed. Those guys are tense.
Versus Arsenal with the 1-0 win.
That's exactly that, and that's about it.
Should we do the highlights, Mike? I'm sure you know where they start. Why don't you take us through
we're
them?
going to start with the Raya save, which was absolutely fantastic.
Correct.
Kylie can roll red, no problem. I've got you covered.
What a pass, by the way.
To be honest, it's a great pass and it's a wonderful run. Araujo, Titi?
Araujo, yeah.
Araujo.
And you know what's impressive with David Raya there is making a save like that, backpedaling.
Backpedaling, that's
it's not easy to generate something or try to be good on something. You're backpedaling, you know where the goal is, and that was magnificent.
He's been Arsenal's best player this season, along with Rice. And then Madueke off the bar, set pieces, Jamie, which you love so much.
Yeah, listen, it's a big part of the game, certainly when Arsenal are involved, and even in this game, it felt like the biggest opportunity to get a goal, as it normally is.
They would have called foul on the keeper.
Yeah, I would think so. And then
again
another Raya save. This was late on, like the 83rd minute. Just get a little bit of luck on that one. There's another one I think coming later actually, where that's coming next.
A great little reaction save. I mean,
yeah,
I would have been disappointed if
but I think the next one's the big one.
The position.
Seen from Sporting's point of view, you see again how late in the game it is, and sometimes you get a little bit of luck where the ball bounces here.
Yeah, no reaction.
Yeah. The second one.
He's a brilliant goal. He's been a brilliant signing for Arsenal. Raya made a huge difference.
And then just a tiny piece, I would say, of magic. As you're going to see here, Gabriel Martinelli gets the ball on the outside. He goes inside. Sporting are very poor there to leave Kai Havertz alone. But that's not my problem. Look, you have to stay with him while you're trying to deal with Gabriel Martinelli here. He left him alone. Fullback cannot save you. Great touch from Kai Havertz and great finish. Boom. Side foot in. See you later. 1-0. That's all we needed.
Well, he's come just half-time and he knows he's got his eye on a lunchtime kick-off against Bournemouth on Saturday as well. It's such an intense 2 weeks. Take it day by day if you're Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, you do, but they have got plenty of time to recover. You can see the guys now doing their runs. And Kai Havertz is smart. He'll be doing his recovery tomorrow. He's come out, but it's fascinating to see a player that's come on, scored, but he's out there running with the team. I think that sets the example, and I think it's important to really factor in. That just shows
I mean, I have to say, none of them look thrilled to be out.
Oh, no, we would never thrill doing that. But these are the things you have to do, and the things that people don't see you do, you need to continuously do it. So for me, yeah, it's a relentless schedule. However, they just want to play games. They look forward to the next game, and this will, like Kai said in his interview, this will just breed confidence going into the Bournemouth game, and it's a tricky fixture. However, now, I feel confident.
And Mikel there saying he wanted his team to be crisper in the second half with their passing, a little bit more clinical, and he was pleased he saw that.
Yeah, they lacked the cutting edge in the first half. Really did. Didn't really do much. You see in the second half, then that little bit of trickery from Martinelli and the decisive run from Havertz was what made the difference. And the attackers in the teams have to make the difference. It's as simple as that. And we're going to see a man who made a difference on the other end.
Yes,
yeah,
nicely linked, Daniel. David Raya coming into the studio and Mikel Arteta agreeing with Kai Havertz's assessment that, hello, how are you, David? He's the best player in his position in the world right now. You've been having praise heaped upon you by your teammates and your manager tonight, and you were, for them, the game changer. The game could have changed so dramatically in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. It's something that I'm there for. I'm trying to help the team as much as possible in any single action, not just defending, just commanding and on the ball. So delighted with my performance and of course the win.
But the save in the 6th minute from Araujo must have been one of your favourite moments of the match.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a turning moment. It was a quick transition from them, and it's just a great strike, but I managed to get a fingertip there just to hit the bar. And it's just one of those moments that can change games.
You made 5 saves tonight, and that now, with obviously Sporting failing to score, means 7 clean sheets in the Champions League this season.
That's something that we worked a lot. So important for us. Those clean sheets makes it easier to win games, and it showed today. Scoring in the last minute and keeping that clean sheet, it decides those type of games.
Taking a goalless draw back next week would have still made you favourites in the tie overall, but Kai Havertz's goal, what difference does that make to the dressing room, to the mood, to the positivity in the camp?
I think everything. I think coming here, we know is so difficult, especially the run they come from. and we know it was going to be a tough battle, and it really was. But obviously, scoring in the last minute is so important to go ahead at half-time of the tie. So looking forward to the next game. But of course, now our head is on Saturday.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you about a goalkeeper's mentality when certain games? Because of course you haven't featured in the last couple. For you as a goalkeeper to then jump into the Arsenal team that's off the disappointment, just to keep the focus for yourself when you're not maybe involved in the game. How is the mindset for a goalkeeper in that sense?
In that sense that you have to be focused no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're touching the ball or you're not. So that's something that I worked a lot during the years, that you learn from previous situations where your head maybe goes and then something happens and you're not ready. So I try to be ready as much as possible during the whole game with some tricks and everything to keep my mind focused on the ball.
And one other thing, did you miss out on the entertainment of the warm-up the other day with the pens and everything? As goalkeepers always train away from the team.
We saw the clips of yesterday's training.
Involved in training.
All right, okay.
Did you want to get involved in it, or did you not?
I haven't even seen it. I don't know what they were doing.
Okay, goalkeepers train on their own, don't they? So yes.
We go out half an hour, 40 minutes before, so we do our own training.
It looked like good fun yesterday, and the guys all decided there was some kind of team-building element to it. This is what was going on with the outfield players yesterday. We fancy a piece of that?
I'd rather do my own stuff with the goalie coach, to be fair. Just leave that fun for them and then let me work hard.
And it did look like fun, and I guess there needed to be maybe an injection of lightness, of maybe a little bit of a downbeat mood after 2 cup exits.
I think, well, you guys know, of course, being on the pitch, you have to have fun, you have to enjoy it. If you don't have fun, you don't enjoy it, it's not worth it. It's not yourself. You go out there with a smile on your face and you know the training is going to be good, you're going to have fun, you're going to perform better on the games. So it's really, really important to have those type of moments.
David, I have one simple question for you. Compliments for your match, incredible. How much do you believe you can win the Champions League?
We believe 100% that we can win it. We have to go step by step, game by game, and showing what we can do. So, of course, playing in the Champions League, I think it's the first time in so many years that we play 3 quarterfinals in a row. So we just have to focus on the present. That's the most important thing. But of course, we have full belief.
Because this is the first time, even in your interview before the match, I sense the confidence in you I haven't sensed in most of the others when they speak about it. That's why I had put the question the way I put it, because now I finally got a straight answer. So thank you for that.
If you don't believe, you're never going to win it. So you always have to keep believing, no matter what you go through.
Amazing.
And the emphasis for you guys now, you've had many experiences over the last couple of years. What's the emphasis for you now to make sure you get over the line this time?
Just being ourselves. Try to go back to what we are. Of course, we come from two losses, like we said, and like we know. Learn from those moments, that pain that you get when you lose a game and you lose 2 competitions straight away. So use that pain in the belly to go out there and express yourself and be yourself and try to be better every single day. So that's really, really important, and that's really like the main message that we have to send out there.
Congratulations on your player of the match.
Thank you very much.
Tonight and the victory, and best of luck next week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you. So Arsenal taking that a 1-goal lead back next week. You don't see any problems for them at home against Sporting, do you?
No, I don't. I didn't. It's one of those. They kept a clean sheet, and I expect them to keep another clean sheet as well. I think it's important to get a result against Bournemouth. However, I do feel like now, going into the second leg, Arsenal will be confident, to get to the semi-final. They have to be, like David Raya was saying there. If you don't believe it, you ain't going to win. So, he's an impressive character. He really is.
I was impressed that he was bold enough to say it. I like that. I like that confidence. I like to be expressive and to say what you feel, and not, feel as if we say that we think we can win it, that now, that shouldn't change anyone's mentality towards what they are, because our expectation is they can win it too. So it's kind of like, it's refreshing to hear a player just come out and say it. I appreciated that. I respect him for doing that.
And talking about the pain in the belly as well from those defeats.
Yeah, what he was saying is, you need to transform negative into positive, and they have been able to do that. It's not easy, but we have been grown up since we were kids. you know, you have to deal with losses and defeats and all this stuff. So now you need to apply it on the highest level. And I think that the balance, even that what we saw of the training session, right, that fun moment, it's fundamental. Because we need to have that kid in us when we go on the pitch. This is what we all love to do. So I like his words, I like his personality, and I like the fact that, I mean, I went straight forward. But finally, say it. Yes, we can win this Champions League. What is wrong with actually? You have to say it out loud. So I'm happy with that, and I think Arsenal actually today has proved themselves 1 point. We are still Arsenal, right? So you still need to respect us. Clean sheet. 1-0. This is what they've been doing in the
Back to their
beginning of the
fundamentals.
season. Exactly.
And maybe some work-ons. We talked pre-match about Gyökeres and what Arsenal have got to do to get the best out of him. We had a kind of strikers chat. Alan was at the desk. And maybe tonight an example, or we've got a few examples of where perhaps Arsenal can serve him better. And the fans here, the 2,600 of them, were singing 1-0 to the Arsenal. That's enough for them, and it's enough, it looks like, for Bayern Munich. Maybe not over the 2 legs, but certainly tonight, a 2-1 win over Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. There, Kylian Mbappe getting one back for Real Madrid after Bayern Munich were ahead through to Luis Diaz and Harry Kane. And of course, tomorrow, PSG, Liverpool and Barcelona, Atletico Madrid complete the quarter-final lineup first legs. And we're back at Anfield next week for the second leg of that one on Tuesday. This is how things look on the road to Budapest. Arsenal in the driving seat against Sporting. And if they can finish things off at the Emirates, they're going to set up a semi-final tie against Barcelona or Atletico. On the other side of the draw, Bayern Munich with that advantage heading into the second leg. And Liverpool could meet them in the semis if they can eliminate the holders, who seem to be a growing force once again, PSG. OK, let's get some reaction here in Lisbon. Kai Havertz, the goal scorer, is alongside Gabriel Clark.
Kai, well done. 1-0 to the Arsenal. That feels as good, I imagine, as any 1-0 this season.
Yeah, of course. To score a late goal is always nice, especially in front of the fans. And yeah, we take that result, and still a lot of work to do next week, but we take the result for sure.
A great moment, a great pass as well to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, top. So much quality, that guy, and obviously as a striker or attacking midfielder, you always wait for these moments, and he made it so well, so credit to Martinelli.
On the balance of play, do you think you deserved it?
Well, I think it was an open game, but I think for most of the time we controlled the game quite well. But football is made up from moments like this, and I think we played overall a very good game, can be proud of ourselves, and now recover and then go again Saturday.
And after the last few weeks, how significant is this moment, do you think? What do you hope it can be in terms of an impact now?
Yeah, definitely a big turnaround for us, because obviously we lost the last 2 matches. So we wanted to get a turnaround today, and I think overall we made that happen for sure. And we stick together as a group, and we have so much more to come this season. There's 7 weeks to go, and we can win big titles, and we're going to go for that.
The final point, David Raya is there to make saves, of course, but the one very early on tonight, and then towards the end, he has been some player for you at times.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think still underestimated in the world of football, but for me, the last 2 seasons, the best keeper in the world. He's outstanding, he's saved us so many times, and we're very glad to have him.
A big step to the semi-finals, well done.
Thank you.
Isn't it, in games like this, Champions League, it's a game where it was quite evenly balanced, to be honest. It felt like Arsenal were probably happy with the draw in the end. However, you've got to give credit to Mikel, because he brought on Max Darman, he brought on Martinelli and Havertz, where some managers at times would probably shy away from that and take the draw, and we'll beat them at home. So credit to the manager, because that's a positive influence in the squad straight away, and I think they needed it. They need that injection of energy. And incredible finish, really, really good finish.
The energy, it's a squad we've talked about that has been, it's been added to, it's been strengthened, and here they are taking this 1-goal lead back next week and looking like this is a tie they can finish off.
Yeah, I said 0-0 would have been a good result as well. You get this chance and you score it, great, even better. Was not a great performance, but it was a solid one, enough to get out here and go back home and say, okay, we came after 2 defeats, we recovered mentally. They were present. I think the team was present since the first minute, but they played against a good team, dangerous team. So I think credits to Arsenal to be able to have such a mentality in this moment and the quality at the end to define the result.
And the confidence, a goal makes such a difference.
Big difference. And like we've been saying, you know, they would have been happy with a draw, but I think that bit of quality coming off the bench, you know, that's why you spend the money to bring these top players in, and they delivered in the vital moments. Kai Havertz has come back, you know, from injury and is finding his way again and finding his rhythm. Great bit of technical ability here from Martinelli to take his time to drive inside. You see how the first touch is what makes the goal. The finish is extremely calm. Delicate finish in the bottom corner, but the first touch, the weight of the pass, the timing of the run is perfect. And yeah, all-round fantastic goal for Arsenal.
What's really fascinating about this goal as well, Max Dowman keeps his width, which really isolates the fullbacks, which creates the space for Havertz to run into, with Gyökeres occupying two centre-halves as well. But he has to be quick with the finish as well. But it's a really calm finish in a really difficult situation for him, because he's had a few injuries as well, and I'm pleased for him. But I always feel they're a better team when he's in it. So for me, that's so vital going into the home leg now, and I would expect Arsenal to go through quite comfortably now.
It's not the first time they've scored a 90th minute winner in a quarter-final. It happened last season, of course, Martinelli's 90th minute goal there. But they don't panic, Arsenal.
They don't. I mean, we saw Mikel at the end there. He was like he was playing. He wants to be involved, doesn't he? But look, it's that's when they're at their best as well, because they're willing to work hard and defend for each other. And they had to have some difficult moments tonight. But credit to Raya, because he was incredible, because that's about the mental sharpness, the focus, when at times you don't have to be too much involved, but he was heavily involved tonight and made some incredible saves. He really did.
Well, of course, we know Sporting's reputation here in the Champions semi-final, 2 seasons running. The progress they've made in this competition, having had so long out of it and then being back in their 3rd season. And as Clarence said pre-match, the favourites, he wants them to go all the way.
Thank you, Clarence. So do I. No, it's, look, they need to go to the next level, and I spoke about it before, the respect element, and I do feel it doesn't matter how you perform as long as you get the results, and they want to go one better, of course, but it just shows good character. They've gone out 2 competitions, which has hurt them. It definitely has hurt them, and there's been the talk about the quadruple, but not for them, more on the outside. And it's a reaction that he wanted, and he got it tonight. And it wasn't a pretty performance like the guys have said. However, they got the result, and that's what it's about when it comes to cup competitions.
What did we learn, if anything, about their mental fortitude tonight?
Well, that they're resilient. There is a belief. They struggled to get into this match in the first minutes, but after, I think they were solid. So there is that confidence that came back, and I believe certain moments, and even the goal that was at the end cancelled, gave a sparkle of more hope and capacity that actually we can score against these guys. You know, sometimes it's just one moment that clicks everything back together in that zone where they should be, because they have everything.
And things could have been so different. That opening 10 minutes, that spirited opening 10 minutes from Sporting, where Araujo hit the bar, and were it not for David Raya, they would have been behind early on. Who knows? It could have opened the game up. We could have seen a very different game, maybe a slightly more entertaining first half, but it certainly caused Arsenal a few nervy moments, didn't it?
It did, and we talked about this pass earlier on, how fantastic that was. The strike, fantastic, the speed of it, but the power of that arm, the strength in that hand of David Raya is what stopped that ball going in the back of the net, tips it onto the bar. But that pass was so good, and you know, you're thinking to yourself, those types of opportunities shouldn't be happening against Arsenal. One pass like that cuts right through you, but that's football.
It was a beautiful thing, wasn't it, the pass?
Yeah, incredible pass. The pass itself probably deserved the goal. However, look, it just shows the standard that David Raya plays at.
5 saves he made tonight.
It was incredible. I generally didn't feel like he got a touch at first, but everything kind of slows down for him in goal, and I think that's a good place to be as a goalkeeper. He's one of the best round right now.
Yeah, he's of course been out for those 2 cup defeats, and back tonight, showing the difference he makes, Clarence.
Yeah, the difference he made, and I just want to say the fullbacks today made the difference in a negative sense, because here the fullback should have been more on the inside. We'll see the goal later of Arsenal, where the left fullback was also completely out of position. But this team has created chances, and having a goalkeeper at those moments is fundamental. You mentioned it before, Gabriel, that when I was able to win the Champions League, it's because we had a great defense. But even better, we had an amazing goalkeeper who made the difference in certain moments like this.
That's the 7th clean sheet of the season in the Champions League, the most of any team in the competition. And as I said to you before, Clarence, all the times you won the Champions League, your team had the most clean sheets.
And he's only going to get better as well. He's still very relatively young in the goalkeeping sense, but I've never really seen myself or Studge as well speak so highly about goalkeepers, because us being strikers, that's one thing at
They're
times.
enemy number one.
They are.
The noise coming from the Arsenal fans who've all stayed. I'm not sure the protocol for security here, they might not be allowed out just yet, but they're all here and they've just seen the reserves come out who've not been used to do their cool down, and giving them the applause that they are keen for those players to take back into the dressing room for their heroes on the pitch tonight. The Arsenal fans sang it best at the end. 1-0 to the Arsenal. That's all they needed from all of us. Good night. Okay.
Real moment of quality, cutting in on his right foot, and the weight of that pass was brilliant.
Interesting to see the reception that Gyökeres got all night, because I've been reading some stuff during the week that Sporting fans weren't too happy with the way he forced his exit and his move to Arsenal. But before and after the game, they seemed, maybe if he'd scored a couple of goals against him, it might have been different. But they seemed very warm towards him.
Yeah, I think most teams, when they lose a big player like that, then there's always, I don't know, noises come from agents and different things, and maybe it could have been dealt with a little bit better perhaps when he did leave the club, you know. But they got a brilliant fee from him, because I think they spent 20 from Coventry, so they got a big profit on the player.
That's why the fans were smiling, looking down, thinking, "How the hell did we get 70 million for that?"
I didn't do a huge amount, did he?
No, we didn't. Pretty type of performance we've seen for most of the seasons, in terms of we know what his kind of limitations are. Arsenal just going to have to play to his strengths more often. I've got a bit of sympathy for him. I think we both have an occasion in terms of the service that he gets on. Doesn't get enough of the service, and it must be very dispiriting. A little bit like Haaland at times during his Manchester City career, in terms of making runs, not receiving the ball, seeing his mates playing the ball in front and across the pitch, not being able to get into the game and not getting any touches of the ball. So I've a small little bit of sympathy for him, but yeah, it was a bang average performance from him up there, and it never affected the game.
Did Sporting deserve more out of that game, do you think?
I don't know, it's a difficult one to answer. I do believe that, as I mentioned, Raya made a couple of brilliant saves, but you know, I think for them to have any chance of going through the semi-final, I said before the game, they have to have some sort of lead going to London next week, and I think their chance is gone. I think they could have been a bit more adventurous at times. You know, they were comfortable at times, you know, playing it back and a bit sideways, a bit like Arsenal as well. But when you're the home team in a quarter-final of a Champions League, this is a massive opportunity against an Arsenal team who just lost the last 2 games, by the way, to actually go for them and be a bit more front-footed and cause them more problems. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were never going to out-Arsenal in that game. You know, take a kind of step back and make it more into a tactical contest. That was never... It needed a real kind of swashbuckling performance like we saw in that first half against Bodo. I know Arsenal are a different level to Bodo Glimt, but still it needed that manner of performance, introduced a little bit of madness into the game, open up end-to-end stuff. It never really developed into that type of game, and that suited Arsenal.
Does that steady it now for Arsenal? I know you weren't buying into this thing that they...
They're too steady. That's their problem, Arsenal. They've been too steady.
Yeah, well, they haven't been steady in the last 2 games. They've been pretty brutal, pretty rubbish, particularly against Manchester City.
Forget about the last game.
You can't just forget about the
They only judge them off when they have the relatively strongest team on the pitch. And they did do against Manchester. They got beaten by the better team on the day. But the league's decided over the course of the season. They're 9 points clear. They're in a great position. And I still think they're the favourites to win this competition. But that performance again this evening, that ain't going to get it done. This competition,
You think Arsenal are the favourites?
No, I still think they're favourites to win the Champions League.
We need to go to break or something here to sort this out.
Well, who's better? I think that they have the best defensive structure. We talk about teams who can win the Champions League. How good are you from an attacking point of view and defensive? I think the balance in the Arsenal team is the best of all the teams. But the performance we've seen tonight and of late against Manchester City, I agree with you, it's not going to get it done. But that's a frustrating thing, Shay. They're better than what they're showing.
But from what we're
at
hearing
the
tonight,
moment.
the other game will show highlights, which in a little while is on another level. What Munich and Madrid are producing. There's obviously Barcelona, Atletico, PSG.
But Arsenal can go to a different level.
Not more likely at the moment.
I don't see that.
At the moment, but Arsenal can go to a different... Is that the best that Arsenal can produce that we saw this evening? No, it isn't. They're far better.
Why can't they be better?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question. Is a mentality from the players? Does it come from the manager in terms of play within yourself, tiptoe our way through the game? I don't think that's going to... It might get it done in the Premier League to get them over the line, no doubt about it. But this competition, they're going to have to find a different gear.
PSG facing Liverpool and Barcelona against Atletico. That was indeed a very intense first minute, 10 minutes, minute and 10 minutes from Sporting.
It was. They started off quite alert and alive, and that's what Arsenal would have expected, I'm sure of that. And it's not surprising to me. That's where Arsenal are vulnerable at the back at this moment in time. It's particularly when you go direct. I feel like this is where Sporting are going to get their best opportunities, and they did.
It felt like they'd done their homework. They'd looked at Arsenal's last 2 defeats and worked out exactly where they could get at them.
Yes, indeed. You know, they came in with a game plan of ensuring that those long balls being a bit more direct, having those wingers running in behind. And like Theo said, you know, it worked for them early on in the game, creating opportunities for themselves, and unfortunately not to take any of them though.
The most shots Arsenal have faced in the first 10 minutes of any match this season, Clarence.
Yeah, I said it. I think Arsenal should really just be tight in the back, wait a little bit more. I have to say it was Sporting that was doing the tactics that I would expect from Arsenal. You know, second half I'm sure they will understand better. A 0-0 here is a good result.
Let's have a look at Araujo's shot then, and this is what viewers who are watching Prime Vision would have seen, Daniel.
Yes, they would have, and you know, the quality of this pass here cannot be, honestly, that is absolutely ridiculous. And the strike, the run was fantastic, with 66 miles per hour and a fantastic save from David Raya there. But the quality of this pass here, honestly, this is next level stuff. So difficult to do that. And the run was timed perfectly, but the answer from Raya, big hand onto it, tips it onto the bar, fantastic save from him.
Do you want to purr a little bit more about the pass, Clarence?
I love the pass. Those are the passes. I mean, that is vertical play, but this is what Arsenal should avoid, giving those passes away. If you sit a little bit lower, those passes don't come through. But what a pass. This is football.
Brilliant pass, isn't it? And as well, it's one of those, probably wanted Suarez to run onto it, because it could have potentially maybe even, you know, when you get a right footer come onto it as well.
The fullback should have been 5 meters towards the inside.
Yeah, at the moment, Ben White, at the moment in time, there's been a few opportunities when he has been caught snapping.
And of course, Raya hasn't been involved in those last 2 cup defeats. And that touch, getting his hand on the ball there, Daniel, for a team that will have had its confidence tested, you know, just how vital in that moment he was for his team.
Huge, and he does that a lot. Actually, he makes big saves when needed. Imagine if they go 1-0 down there so early on in the game. It's a very different proposition that we'd be looking at now. So for him to step up in that moment, you know, we talk about the pass, we talk about the shot, but the save was top class as well.
Tell you what we also talk about a lot, and that's an Arsenal set-piece threat. And we're going to do that again, because that's the way they've found themselves with the potential to get into this game.
Yeah, look, we all, you know, we're not shy of saying this. Arsenal, this is an opportunity where they're going to cause a threat, and they've been doing it all season. But I mean, it's some clearance, because I had no idea, to be honest, where the ball was. But Diamande's in the right position at the right time, and they're a big, strong team as well. But this is another part of Arsenal's arsenal where they can really affect the game and get results. A game here, Madueke with the ball, and I think when it comes out to Odegaard, he'll be a little bit disappointed with this. Maybe snatches at it, but might be distracted by the tackle coming in. But look, it's opportunities where I feel like Arsenal are more likely to score at this moment in time.
Yeah, they've had their moments, Clarence, haven't they? And Martin Odegaard has been involved in a lot of their set piece, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, set pieces, we know, can make a difference, especially in these kind of matches, especially in this kind of moments. These are one of their points of strength, which they definitely need to explore.
And for the second half, obviously for Arsenal to go in, you know, having kept a clean sheet, it's Sporting really who've got to come out, haven't they, and try and get something to take to the Etihad next week, to the Emirates next week. And for you, what have Arsenal got to do in this next 45 minutes?
Well, continue to stay diligent, you know, like we're saying, they don't have to win. We know that the next game they're in a much better position playing at home, but for tonight they can nick a couple on the break. You know, they've got the players, they've got options off the bench. We talked about young Max Dowman, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli's on the bench as well, players who can come on and impact the game. But I think for now, stay solid, ensure that you're not giving away any long balls over the top, any counter-attacks that you want to suffer. You want to ensure that you're on the other side, giving Sporting all the problems in their area.
Well, with Sporting coming out knowing that they want to get on that score sheet and take